please.
If I might go just a little deeper.
Oh, go ahead.
There is a kind of an organ, if you will, in the energy. You know, the energy or subtle body is comprised of the most common features of the energy body that are known about are the chakras. There is more. There is a kind of a structure in the energy body that's located near the center of the chest. It's called the pranendriya. And when energy patternings, light, sound, other things, reach our structure, they are perceived. And they're perceived at a physical level in the brain. But they also create patternings in the energy body. And this organ, the pranendriya, kind of assimilates and that patterning in a way that gives it a, for lack of a better word, a kind of an intuitive understanding. So you'll find that when you approach a person, you may have a sense whether that person is someone to stay away from or someone that you're attracted towards. It is a kind of a subtler perception. It is not just based on visual images alone, but it is this feeling, a kind of a feeling that is a result of the functioning of this pranendriya, this structure or organ within the subtle body. And it is that. Some people talk about it as a resonance of the heart because it is located in the chest. But it is that has the capacity to grasp the energy patternings, if you will, of plants.
And you say that the pranendriya exists in all plants as well?
No, I'm not saying it exists in plants as
okay,
well.
Okay. Because that actually leads me off to my next question, because...
Though some more developed animals may have it. You'll see a dog. Dog can have a very subtle perception of whether someone is a threat or a friend.
Yeah, so I saw this video online, and the main thing I got out of that was she was saying that you want to find the heart chakra, like especially of a tree, because it's going to be there for years and years, more than an annual plant or vegetable. But that when you plant it, you want to find the heart chakra of it and find which direction it's facing, and then you want to face it, well, where we would be direct south, so that you face the heart chakra to where it's going to get the most amount of light. And she was saying that if you don't do this, that the plant will reorient its soul or its energy body to orient to the sun and to the alignments of how it's supposed to be. But, that could take a year, which could mean that it spends a year putting energy, shifting its soul around instead of you just putting it in the right place.
It is, so far as I know, it is not a chakra in the same sense as the chakras that are the controlling psychic energy points within the subtle body of humans and other more sentient beings. Animals have their own energetic patternings, and my sense is that it is a kind of a metaphorical equivalent. So that is the difference between what I'm saying and what she is saying. It's not that there is not a psychic structure in a plant. Particularly, trees have more evolved structures. But you see, there is a characteristic difference between a plant and an animal life form. Animal life forms are very active. They move to get those things that they need. Perception and mobility are very important to the psychic structure and the form of animals. Whereas plants are very sedentary, sedate. There is not a lot of perceptual activity going on. There are not developed organs of perception. There are not developed organs of movement. There are some vines who are very particularly receptive. Of course, there's always receptivity to sunlight, water, and so forth. I'm not saying there is none, but it is significantly different. So the mind of a plant, particularly a large plant that has had years of existence, a tree, that mind shapes up not so much around doing as around being. Humans have a aspect of mind, a subjective sense of mind that is concerned with being. A sense, I exist, I am. An existential capacity of mind, faculty of mind. But what predominates is our identification with doing, with thinking, with feeling, with imagining, with perceiving, with calculating, with opinionating, motion, all of these kinds of activities. We are very concerned with doing. Whereas a plant, its nature is much more developed around the being, particularly the ancient trees. They have highly developed, this aspect of mind is called Mahatattva in yogic philosophy. This aspect of mind is highly developed. So were you even to have a bit of experience with meditation and then go into an ancient forest where there are old trees, ancient trees, and particularly trees that have existed together as a forest. There's a connectedness of mind. The roots intermesh with each other. There is a kind of a collective psychic sense of being even. You will feel a kind of a calmness. There is an energy of that forest. And it is one that is very compatible with meditation, with this higher faculty of the human mind. So
it's easy to say that a forest is in more alignment, and when you're in that energy vibration, that it's easier for you to align with their alignment.
Yeah, it will facilitate that alignment in yourself. If you go into an ancient forest, you're emotionally disturbed. You walk for a while in that forest, you'll find your energies calming much more significantly than were you to go out and walk on an arterial street.
So, do you have any spiritual practices that you do with your plants? You have a beautiful garden here, but I'm just wondering, do you come out and meditate and specifically send specific intentions to the plants, or?
I rarely do that. There are two things, and I don't have a developed practice in this area, but there are two things that I do. One is I do meditate sometimes when weather conditions are nice. I like the energy of the plants, and I think perhaps they like my energy. The other thing that is good is chanting. Everything at a fundamental nature is vibration. It is composed of a kind of subtle acoustic quality. Though at a subtle nature it is not audible sound. But that audible sound kind of resonates into subtler spheres. If you chant with a certain, particularly using chanting that has come out of spiritual traditions, there are indications that I've seen that plants will resonate with